Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy.
A lot of people ask me, why do I use the pictures? Because as a Muslim, especially living in this era, we are living in the days of the Ruwaybida. We're living in the days of the Ruwaybida. We're living in the days in which Islam has become distorted. Islam has become strange. We're living in the days in which the Sunnah has become abandoned. The Sunnah, the Hadiths have become forgotten. The Hadiths have become replaced with fatwa or Islamic verdicts that the Prophet ﷺ warned against. So you have a right to know who you're taking your knowledge from. That's why I came out 2 years ago and started using video, and I shocked you guys. Oh yeah, voices can be very deceiving. When I finally let y'all see me, y'all were like, oh, she's Arabic. Oh, I told y'all, don't get it twisted. Okay? So you have a right to know who you're taking your knowledge from. That's Kareem Abu Zayd. This is Laila Nashiba. When I do Sheikh Atlee's, his books are the other books we teach here. I always put Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee's picture up. You should know who he is. He played a big role here in America. Oh, yeah. After Malcolm X was assassinated, Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee was sent here to America, to teach the true Islam. Okay? You should know who he is. He should be in the history books. Oh, yeah, he should be. All right? So that's why when I teach his books, because I teach his books too, by the way, all of our hadith books can be purchased at www.atleeonline.com. I always put his picture up so y'all know who he is. Okay? And also Abdullah Kirk, one of my students. He's put out a couple of books. I'll be teaching his too because he's my student here. Always use his picture. You have a right to know who you're taking your knowledge from, especially in this era. The days in which the Sunnah is becoming forgotten, the days in which the Islam is becoming strange, so strange that we have Muslims protesting against the Qadr of Allah. That's what's so bad. I still can't get past that. Islam is so distorted. Islam is so strange that you got millions of Muslims in the world, and millions of these Muslims are protesting against the Qadr of Allah. They're boycotting the Qadr of Allah. They're it's just, it's sad. It makes you go cuckoo, cuckoo. Whoa. But rest assured, the Prophet ﷺ said, despite how strange and twisted this nation will become, there'll always be a handful, just a handful, 5 or 6, maybe 10 at the most. There'll always be a handful of protectors of the Sunnah who will try to keep it real and call you back to the traditional Islam. You just have to want to know the true Islam. And as Allah says in the Quran, anyone who is sincere in learning this deen, anyone who is sincere in learning this deen correctly, Allah will guide you to one of those handful. And welcome here to those of you who are here. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Okay. All right. So in this book, we spent the past 2 weeks discussing how, when it comes to nurturing the Fitra within us, when Shaitan finds out, when he learns that when your personal jinn, remember, Your personal jinn hovers around in your heart when we're awake. When we go to sleep, he moves to our nose. This is an authentic hadith, Sahih Bukhari. When we are awake, our personal jinn, it hovers around in our heart. It knows our strengths and it knows our weaknesses. And it will attack us thus. If it sees that you're too strong against him or against it, then it will work on your children. It will try to get to you through your children or your wives the same way, or your husbands, the way it did, the prophets of Allah. Okay? A lot of the sisters here will complain to me about how now that they're practicing Islam correctly, they're finding a lot of things wrong with their husbands. One of the biggest issues that you women have been bringing to me is the issue of your husbands not praying. I'm sorry. This is where we draw the line. I have to say this. This is where we draw the line. And by the way, allergies. We having a heat wave here in America, especially here where I live. It's like 100 and some degrees. I got my air conditioner on, but I got asthma, so I got to be careful. Got my asthma spray there. So my voice might crack because of the asthma. But this is where we women draw the line. I'm sorry. If you're married to a man who is not performing his prayers, he's got to go. I'm sorry. A lot of you sisters ask me, Sister Layla, what should I do? My husband doesn't pray. What are you doing married to him? I'm sorry. That prayer is our connection to Allah. To abandon the prayer, you've broken your connection to Allah. Subhanallah. With a righteous woman. Remember, Allah says in the Quran, righteous women are for righteous men. Unrighteous women are for unrighteous men. Can you imagine Aisha, radiallahu anha, being married to a man who didn't pray? Can you imagine Atika, radiallahu anha, being married to a man that didn't pray? Could you imagine Hakam being married to a man that didn't pray? Kaula. Can you imagine even me with a man that don't pray? I'm sorry. If he don't pray, he got to go. I'm sorry. That's it. No. Ain't no patience in that crap. He got to go. So you sisters got to let these losers go. If he doesn't fear Allah enough to protect himself, then how is he going to protect you? You got to let him go. And remember, whatever we give up for the sake of Allah, Allah promises that he will send us better. Do you sisters understand? So for you sisters that keep asking me, I'm sorry, if the man ain't praying, he got to go. Kick him to the curb and keep it moving. Go back home to your mom and dad and live with them. Make dua and Allah will send you a better person, a better man, because righteous women are only for righteous men. Y'all get that, sisters? So a lot of you may be experiencing this because your fitra has been ignited. Your fitra has been awakened. So you have that relationship with Allah that you never had before, and your allegiance to him. Your allegiance to the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and your love for them and your love for this religion, because you now understand what your purpose in life is. You're on a different plateau. So you might have to make changes in your life, such as kicking the non-praying man to the curb. And some of you sisters come to me because you got husbands that smoke weed. Oh yeah, we draw the line with that. Drugs, oh no. Even if the man prayed, Allah doesn't accept the prayers of a person with that nonsense. We draw the line at the drug addicts. We draw the line with the men that don't pray. We draw the line with the men that don't practice. I'm going to tell you why. Because your husband is supposed to be your leader. How can he lead you to paradise when you have to remind him of what paradise is? That means you're the leader. And if you're the leader, it ain't going to work, because Allah didn't create women to lead men. That's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any nation that appoints a woman as its leader, it will fail, because Allah did not create women to lead. It's not in our makeup. We're too emotional. I can tell you that. I'm a female and I run a website. I ain't no leader of nobody, but this is my website and it's stressful. I suffer with anxiety because of this website, to the point sometimes where I can't sleep because I'm worried about, donations and stuff. A man can run a website and not worry about that crap. He can handle it. Y'all get it, sisters? I'm just speaking the truth. So if the man is not fulfilling his obligations to Allah, how can he lead you anywhere but to the hellfire? As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in another authentic hadith, what's the source? Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. A woman takes on the religion of her husband. That's why a woman can't marry a kafir. That's why a woman can't marry an irrighteous man. Because an irrighteous man will cause you to become an irrighteous woman. Do you sisters get it? By the way, this will be separate from the live when I do the editing. Plus, that'll make it easier for Brother Emma to make shorts too. Yeah. Okay, so you sisters have to do a lot of self-evaluation. So many of you may have to change your condition. Remember, Allah doesn't change the condition of a person until that person takes the steps to change the condition of himself or herself. So if you got a husband that's doing drugs, you got a husband that's not praying, you got a husband that's fornicating, adulterating, you got to let him go. Kick him to the curb, because he's irrighteous. And that and it's easier said than done, because the sad thing, and this is another one of the signs of the last hour. And by the way, that class will be tonight. My class on the signs is tonight at 9. Yes, Brother Abdullah, it's at 9. Okay. It's hard to do, because one of the signs of the last hour is the men that do provide and the men that do maintain, they are the ones who don't practice. So you're put in a dilemma. We talked about this before with the sisters who are married to men who come from who are Qadariya. Who are the Qadariya? They're the ones that don't believe in the hadiths. If you don't believe in the hadiths, you are not a Muslim, because we don't testify to la ilaha illallah. We testify to la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You don't believe in the hadiths, that means you don't believe in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah says, obey me and obey my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? So that's another problem. You sisters who are married to men who don't believe in the hadiths, you got to let them go. Let them go. Let them go. But a lot of these brothers, they come from the nation of Islam here in America. This is the problem here with a lot of the African American sisters. They're married to men who come from the nation of Islam. The only hadiths that they accept are 40 hadiths of Imam Nawawi and Riyadh al-Salihin. And those two books are not even sources. Okay? That shows how uneducated these men are of their religion. Well, I'm sorry, sisters, you got to let these men go. Who wants a tip-sided person? You got to let them go. Y'all understand that? So this is the test. Allah says in the Quran, just because you say you believe in me is not enough. You have to prove to me, and I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you with everything that's dear to you, your husbands, your wives, your children, your money, your property, your health, your sanity. We were created to worship Allah. We were put here on this earth to be tested in our belief in him. So for you sisters whose Fitra has been awakened, welcome to your first test. Your first test is now, do you love your husband more than you do me? Allah. That's what Allah is testing you with. Are you going to stay in this relationship with this man? Yeah, he's a good provider. Yeah, he's a good maintainer, but he's a renegade. He does not accept my prophet. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what are you going to do? Are you going to choose this dunya, the life of this world, over me? That's your test. You sisters have to choose correctly. Understand? Faith does not come with sacrifice. It's all about sacrifice. That's why we do the seerah here, the story of the prophet and his companions here. Look at how those companions sacrificed. Look how they sacrificed their families, their homes, their money, their children for Allah. They proved to Allah. That's why Allah says they are the best of this nation, those companions, because they proved that Allah comes first before their children, their money, their husbands, their wives. When Allah sent down the command telling the Muslim men that they can only have 4 wives, the companions divorced their wives. They had 10, 15, 20. They got rid of them and only kept, the ones. They only kept the ones that converted. For example, Abu Bakr, radiallahu anha. When Allah sent down that command, said that they can only be married to 4 wives, he went to his wives and said, okay, either y'all convert or you gone. Only 2 converted. The rest he got rid of. Okay? And told them they can keep their cheering too. Oh yeah, he let them keep their cheering. They're cheering that didn't want to convert. He let them keep the ones that didn't want. And you kids, either y'all come this way or you stay with your mom. For those children of his that didn't want to convert to Islam, they stayed with their mom and ended up fighting against them. As the one hadith, one of his sons came to him and after the conquest of Mecca, when the Quraysh converted to Islam, one of his sons came to him and said, I saw you during the Battle of Badr. He said, I was so close to you. I could have shot you with my arrow, but I didn't because you my father. And he laughed. Abu Bakr looked at his son and he said, that's where you and I differ. Because had I seen you during the Battle of Badr, I would not have hesitated to release my arrow and take your life. How many of us have the faith and the love, the wala and bara that those companions had? That's what this class is all about. That's the part of the shahada that's not being taught. Wala wal bara, allegiance to Allah and disassociation from him. Out of all these lectures and people on the internet calling themselves giving dawah, I only know one brother. There's only one brother out there, and of course he's Arabic. He's not even a part of America. There's only one brother I know who's one of these famous speakers that's teaching this class. He's not teaching from this book. He's teaching from the Arabic books because, of course, he's Arabic. He has access to that. But all these other speakers are talking about politics, crying about Gaza, and all of this. Maybe this is why. They don't understand this is why Allah sent this war. We got to get back to La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. When we deviate away from that, that's when Allah sends the war. But no, they're busy protesting against Allah's decree and boycotting Allah's qadr. Astaghfirullah. Woo! Sad. All right, so, you sisters who are new here, handle your business and handle your business with dignity. And don't think that you are alone. A lot of us women have been in those situations where we had to choose between a man who's a good provider, a good maintainer, but a sorry believer, a sorry Muslim. A lot of us women were in that situation. And I can tell you the stories. If you come into my Zoom room, you can talk to a lot of the sisters here. A lot of the elderly women here in my Zoom room have been in those situations, and they had no problem kicking the man to the curb. And they can tell you how Allah always sends something better as a result.